AMD's Ryzen 9800X3D has officially hit store shelves, following what many were calling a red wave taking the PC gaming and hardware market by storm. The chip has overall been received quite well by the tech press and many consumers who are looking to get their hands on it, though they'll be disappointed to find out in many regions there was practically little to no stock. We also have some concerning information surrounding Intel and their upcoming Battlemage GPUs, which is the last thing you probably want to hear from Intel's camp. And then maybe we might see the RTX 50 series coming out earlier than expected. All that and more to be discussed in this video. Hey, if you enjoy content like this, drop a like, make sure to subscribe, and smash that bell so you never miss another video. Hey, what is going on guys? Danny here, welcome back to the channel and I hope you've all been doing well. Quite a bit of hardware news to cover for this video, so we're going to be jumping right into it. And starting us off, we've got the release of AMD's latest X3D CPU based on their Zen 5 architecture, the Ryzen 7 9800X3D. Its predecessor, the 7800X3D, was holding the gaming crown, so naturally you'll have lots of folks who will be excited for its follow-up. I won't be spending much time at all going over many benchmarks. I urge you all to look at as many as you can, but the general consensus was pretty straightforward. That is, for now, the 9800X3D is offering chart-topping performance when it comes to gaming. I will admit, it did actually do a bit better than my initial expectations because I was taking into consideration the advancement we saw with the vanilla Zen 5 chips over Zen 4, but I did also say that the 3D V-Cache could perform better on this architecture, and it clearly has. For the vast majority of titles tested and reviewed, it's offering high average FPS, and the 1% lows I was noticing in many cases were showing an even larger improvement across many titles. Furthermore, it's just absolutely embarrassing the latest Core Ultra 200 series that are based on Arrow Lake from Intel. I mean, they were already received quite negatively to begin with, and then this right here is just adding more salt to the wound. I will be testing out the 9800X3D and putting it through various benchmarks and tests along with doing various kinds of content involving tuning, so be on the lookout for that content in future videos. But that is going to take a little bit longer than expected, unfortunately. So come release day, which was yesterday, November 7th, and the launch didn't go as smoothly as you'd expect it to. Well, actually, if the CPU is chart topping and gets glowing reviews, then I guess that is to be expected. But I honestly thought that there really wouldn't be any supply issues. Now, in the US, I heard that there was plenty of stock available from online retailers and places like Micro Center. I had some folks from places like the UK and Germany tell me stock was readily available there as well. Unfortunately, though, Canada seems to always get the short end of the stick. Local Canadian PC parts retailers like Canada Computers and Memory Express said they didn't get any stock to begin with. Some Canadians were able to snag a chip from places like Newegg or Best Buy because those retailers also share some stock from their US distribution centers for Canada. And on Best Buy's website in the morning, I did for a moment have the opportunity to add it in my cart, but I was at work and then something came up and then I eventually returned to a web page that said it was out of stock again. It wouldn't even let me add it to the cart for a back order. So that's great. On the bright side, I don't expect the situation to be as dire for too long. I think this chip will be readily available in stock relatively soon. We're not in the middle of a pandemic where there are chip shortages or lockdowns, no CPU mining boom. Just have some patience, guys, and you will be able to buy one relatively soon. What I don't encourage anyone to do is this. Yep, the scalpers are back at it again. I actually kind of forgot about them because most of the hardware launches we got over this past year and last year weren't that exciting, so stock for most of the recent stuff was never an issue. But obviously, as we just discussed, this chip is going to be selling like hotcakes for a while, and whenever there's a PC part, or any item for that matter that is highly sought after, you can bet your FPS that there will be scalpers involved. And you can take a look at some of these eBay listings which are just utterly ridiculous. The CPU has an MSRP of $480, and these scalpers are trying to sell the chip for like double the price, if not even more. Here's hoping they don't sell a single one. But hey, like I said, this is going to be a highly sought after item. There will be some desperate individuals out there that will buy them and thus continue to enable this behavior. Now moving on, let's talk about Intel's upcoming Battlemage GPUs, which have become a hot topic recently due to some conflicting reports. First, there's an article from PC Gamer that covers comments made by Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger during their Q3 2024 earnings call. Gelsinger hinted at a potential shift in Intel's focus away from discrete graphics, stating that the demand for these products has softened. Naturally, this has led to speculation that Intel might be pulling back on its discrete GPU ambitions altogether. For anyone who's been following Intel's entry into the graphics market, this is pretty concerning news. After all the hype surrounding their next generation discrete GPU series, hearing about a possible retreat or even a cancellation of their Battlemage GPUs feels like a total letdown. Intel has been pushing hard to gain a foothold in the gaming GPU market, but it's clear that this is no easy task, especially against giants like Nvidia and AMD, who have been in the market for decades. The Arc Alchemist series, while decent once driver issues were resolved and we got price drops, didn't make the kind of impact Intel might have hoped for, and Gelsinger's comments could imply that Intel is reassessing its priorities. If Intel does decide to abandon the discrete GPU market, it would mean the cancellation of Battlemage and future architectures, which would definitely disappoint the enthusiasts who've been rooting for a third competitor in this space. And in this space, we desperately need another player in the market to keep the other two somewhat on their toes. I must also highlight that this wasn't all that bad, and Intel showed glimpses of remarkable engineering. Their ray tracing and upscaling implementations were actually better than AMD, who had 2 generations of ray tracing before them, and in some instances, they competed well against Nvidia. You have to remember that these days, it's not just about who has the best hardware, but they must also have good software implementations to drive that hardware. If the drivers are bad, the software features aren't impressive, then people simply won't buy it. And Intel really seemed like they could take the fight to Nvidia when it came to delivering decent hardware, but also having a good software stack and features to back them up. But just when it seemed like things were looking grim for Battlemage, a contradictory report emerged. A new leak from a Chinese tech forum cited by Video Cards, suggesting that Intel might actually be closer to launching Battlemage than previously thought. According to their source, we could see an update on the Battlemage lineup as early as next month. If this rumor is true, it would mean that Intel hasn't abandoned its discrete GPU plans and might even be gearing up for a relatively imminent release. Honestly, the situation is a bit confusing, and it feels like Intel might be sending mixed signals. While Gelsinger's comments suggest that Intel might be cooling off on GPUs, this leak implies that the project is still alive and kicking. Personally, I think Battlemage should have hit the market a while ago, maybe in like late 2023. The delays have definitely dampened some of the excitement, and if Intel wants to capture any significant market share, they'll need to bring something impressive to the table sooner rather than later. And if they aren't offering a huge leap in performance, it's going to have to deliver in some other way, like really good price to performance and or performance per watt. Otherwise, they risk being perceived as inconsistent or non-committed, which could be detrimental to their long-term goals in the GPU space. And like I said, I'd hate to see them get pushed out of the market, especially when we finally got a third player. Lastly, let's briefly cover a new rumor regarding Nvidia's next generation GPUs. Well-known hardware leaker Kopite7Kimi recently tweeted, "We will meet GeForce of Blackwell soon," which has sparked speculation that Nvidia might be planning to release their RTX 50 series, codenamed Blackwell, earlier than expected. Up until now, most of us assumed that CES 2025 would be the reveal date, but this vague post suggests that the timeline could be moving up. Wouldn't it be funny as hell if Nvidia just decided to surprise release the series? Like, there is no announcement, we just see the listings pop up at retailers, and there's a couple of announcement videos and trailers posted to their social medias the day of. I doubt it would be that, but it'd be pretty comical to happen, because it would show just how little they care about the gaming market, because they're just too busy with their AI gravy train. But anyways, there's not much to go on from this one tweet alone. It's pretty cryptic after all, but if there's any truth to it, then Nvidia might be accelerating their release schedule, possibly to stay ahead of any potential competition from AMD or even Intel's Battlemage if it does end up launching soon. Remember, look at previous generations, Nvidia has always been first to the market. This early arrival could give Nvidia another leg up, especially if Blackwell brings substantial improvements in power and or performance. Of course, it's still just a rumor, so I wouldn't get excited just yet, but with so much happening in the PC hardware market, it's definitely an area to keep an eye on. Let's see if any more details surface in the coming weeks. But that is going to be wrapping it up for this one. We'll be touching base in the next video. If you guys found this video to be informative and entertaining, then leave a like. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Be sure to check out the video description for cool links and ways to support the channel, such as using my Amazon affiliate link. And if you're interested in seeing more content like this, then consider subscribing. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.